Howdy, hoy hoy. It is, yep, still Saturday for another 15 minutes. This is another night where I'm uploading very late into the night. And, man, I've been having trouble with acne recently, which is really annoying. But that's always the problem around Christmas, is because you get all the chocolates and stuff, and chocolate does cause acne. So I need to counteract that by, cleaning my face. And probably, yeah, no. I'm eating the chocolate responsibly, though, and I think that's... it's like those alcohol commercials, please consume responsibly. I feel it's the same way with chocolate. You can have a little bit, but not a lot. And dark chocolate is good for the heart, apparently. I read that somewhere. I don't know where. It's January, so my lips are extremely dry all the time, and so please excuse me as I do this. My lips, honestly, feel like they're peeling themselves. It's gross. Ow, it burns. It burns. Ah! Okay. But it works, so that's nice. And you know what? I say it's January because it's January 12th, but right now it is 12 degrees Celsius outside. Well, not right now, but today it was 12 degrees Celsius outside. That's ridiculous. That's amazing. I walked outside in this, which is sweater and pants that are really too big on me now. Especially this sweater. Look at this. Look at this. It hangs off of me. Look at this. This is, it's nice, but I like this sweater. But I guess, it's kind of a good thing that I don't need that anymore. So, my hair is a wreck. I need a haircut. But anyways, I'm going to talk about today, because today was a bit of a day, it was Saturday. As I told you yesterday, I felt like I had a sleep hangover, I was so tired last night. And so, I slept till 11 today, which was beautiful and just amazing, and then, oh my gosh, just pimples, my gosh. Yeah, I'm covering it with my finger now. I woke up at 11 so I could get up and load the car. So I loaded the car with the instruments and we headed off to Lambeth, which is the small town outside of London where we played our gig with my dad and our friend who's a drummer and our friend who's a keyboard player. And they're older. My dad being 54, the piano player being in his late 50s, early 60s, I believe, and the drummer being late 30s, early 40s, and me being 17. And I keep up with them pretty well, but, they're playing hits from the 50s and 60s, and, I'm pretty good at it, but I definitely have work to do if, I ever get around to it. Usually when I'm on guitar, I'm working on worship music, and, recently just Muse, my gosh. I am a huge Muse fan. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan, because I'm sure there's always fans who are out there who are, much better and more into it and, fall in love with, Matt Bellamy or something. I like the drummer personally. He's cool. There's so much about Muse that is great. I haven't played the bass in a while, so I've been getting back into it. I started getting back into it when I listened to a Blues Brothers album, and I was listening to the soundtrack of the movie, and there's the Shake a Tail Feather, and I just was like... Woo. could go up. But I remember when I started out with bass, I was stuck on the... If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile. I get distracted too easily when there's music around. I was right now experimenting with my pedal board, trying to get the effects down that I liked. So I got my digital delay, a 1970s phase tone, a 1970s chorus, the DS1, and the Super Overdrive, plus my Vox Wah and a crappy plastic volume pedal, because all I needed to do is turn me down when I don't know what I'm doing. Which isn't often, but still, it's nice to have that option. Little known fact, I used to play bass in a rock band. A long time ago, when I was maybe 12 or 13. The guitarist was absolute crap. All he did was like shred all the time, and I mean, that's not music. Music is when you hear, oh, well, let's think about it. Going all the way back to some Bach. Go back to the Baroque era, and you hear some of his great music. And you know, Baroque's good. I'm not a fan because it's always running, and you know. But you get to classical stuff, and I like classical. Because that's where you get into Beethoven and Mozart, and yeah. See, I told you, I get distracted. But I was literally playing that for 6 minutes a couple days ago, so I could get the boom diada done. But I'm so happy that I had the choir sing that. I didn't get any tracks added to it today, but when it gets around, I'll get it done sometime. That's Panic Station, by the way. It's a great song. And I remember, going back to when I was 12 or 13, I used to be really big into Billy Talent, and there's something nice about those Billy Talent progressions. Now, I'm by no means a good bass player, but I like to learn the fun stuff. Like, well, everyone plays, you know, Money by Pink Floyd. I used to now play All Around the World by Red Hot Chili Peppers, because it's always good to get some flea in there. And then I wanted to get into some jazz. And I am wasting time right now, and I have a solid reason for that. It's because my Ryerson video, is 97% done exporting, and I'm on the final version, and I need to look it over, because I hope it's the final version, but I need to look it over in case there's any flaws, and if there are flaws, I'm going to be really mad, because I've spent the past 2 days working on this, editing this, and I put a lot of time into post-production. I put a lot of time into pre-production. I put a lot of time into regular production. And I'm looking at some of the videos, and I think I stand a solid chance. I'm going to upload this video as soon as it's done, which may be tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm going to bet, actually it's probably going to be tomorrow or Monday. And I'm going to get this uploaded so you can see it, and I'm going to trust all of your opinions, because I trust all of you as great people that you are, because you listen to me, and I get off on tangents, and I honestly, most of the time, I don't even talk about what the blog's about. So that reminds me, I'm going to do that right now. So this morning, I told you, I woke up at 11, and so my morning food, I'm not really going to call it breakfast, because breakfast is at 7. Morning food is whenever I wake up in the afternoons on Saturday. I had shredded wheat with milk and a tiny bit of brown sugar, just for flavor, because shredded wheat is very bland. I'm out of oatmeal, and we're out of Cheerios, so I need to go to the grocery store tomorrow and pick up both of those, because I love oatmeal. I found out I loved oatmeal, and it's very good. And then lunch was non-existent, because I was playing my gig, and then I got so frustrated at this gig, okay? We were playing at a Legion, and just for the veterans, and you know, my dad's band and we play at malls, and we play at private functions, and the music we play is rock and roll. We play 50s rock and roll, and we play like wise men say only fools rush in, that kind of stuff. We play the ballads and that kind of stuff. When we do sometimes pump the volume, and that depends on how many couples we get out. And you'd be surprised, we have a lot of line dancers, which is kind of funny, and a bunch of people who get together and dance, and it's cute to see these old people and couples dancing, and I love that. Babies are cute. Regular people, between let's say 12 and 57 aren't cute, but once you get 57, it's just like, oh, you're cute again. It's ah. I think I'd be offended at that. Anyways, and these people told us to turn it down, so we're like, okay, yeah, we'll respect that. We turned it down. We were at basically nothing, and then this old lady comes out, and she's going about, you guys are way too loud. It's just so loud, and we're not that loud. And so my dad and the keyboardist have been playing together in gigs, and they are very seasoned musicians. And when you think of musicians, many people think of the pop stars like Justin Timberlake, Alicia Keys, and you see them on stage, and they're very, they're pop stars. But the reality of musicians is that like 1% becomes famous, and the rest do regular functions, like play at bars on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and to get all the work. Yes, it's done rendering. Okay, we're gonna watch it together in a second. And so they're used to situations that are, uncomfortable, and they're used to the way things should work and how people normally should deal with a situation. And so this lady comes up and says, you guys are too loud, and said, oh, we're sorry, ma'am. And so they whispered through the song, and the keyboard player turned down his piano completely, and they started whispering through the song, and it was sort of on pitch. And then they asked, is that quiet enough for you? And they said, oh yes, that's perfect. I was like, oh great, that's how we're going to do the rest of our songs. And earlier, the bartender said that we were too loud, and this was, and we weren't. I promise you, I know what loud is when we're playing. It was not loud. It was very quiet. And he said, we're too loud. Yet, we could hear the conversation happening at a table across the Legion. We could hear all of his conversations. And, hoi hoi, happy Sunday, because it's Sunday now. Sorry, I had to do that. So our drummer went back because he hadn't had lunch yet, and all they have at this bar are, like, pickled sausages and potato chips. So lunch was off the menu today. So he went back there, and it was silence. Like, we weren't playing. Our set was over. We were resting for 5 or 10 minutes. He went back to get his stuff, and when he asked for his order, the barkeeper said, "What? He was hard of hearing. This man was hard of hearing, and the reason he told us to turn down was because he couldn't hear people talking. This man was deaf." But not deaf enough, like, okay, the people who were dancing loved us, they told us to turn it up. But then the old people sitting at the table in the back, were out of their mind with, like, it's like, it's too loud, stop it. So I got royally pissed. I've never been this pissed at a concert. What I literally did, they said, "You're too quiet." I said, "Okay." Turned down the volume on my Strat, unplugged, turned off my amp, unplugged, and packed up in the middle of the song. And my dad looks at me, I looked at him, I was like, and I told him, and these are my words exactly, "Dad, this is bullshit, I'm going." And he laughed, and the drummer had to go too, because he plays in the band that I was doing sound for this evening at church, and so I had to go right to church after this gig. But luckily, I got there earlier because I said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home," because they were absolute idiots about it. The band just... So it was my dad and the keyboard player afterwards, and my dad plays soprano sax, tenor sax, alto sax, flute, clarinet, guitar, and sings all at the same time. No, but he's a very multi-talented man, just like, and I think that's where I get it from. So it was just him and the keyboard player, and they liked it. And so at the end, they asked, "Why did the guitarist and the drummer go home?" And my dad never misses a beat. He's like Winston Churchill in that way. He's just like, "Oh, well, you told us we were too loud, so we sent them home." And they felt so bad. And that makes me so happy. And I'm not trying to say I get fortune from other people's sadness. But when you are that much of a jerk about a band who needs volume, because, you're not going to sing a cappella because you will get lymph nodes. What lymph nodes are like little bumps on your vocal cords that make it impossible for you to sing and lead to you losing your voice permanently. So yeah, you want to sing at a proper level, hence microphones. So yeah, you need amplification in any gig, really. And that's the only thing they told us to turn down were the vocals, but they weren't. If we turned down the vocals, you wouldn't be able to hear them over the piano, over the drums, and anyways, it was just a weird experience and a really annoying experience. So then I got to the church and I set them up, and it sounded great. The worship was fantastic tonight. Just honestly beautiful service. And it was the same guy who did the Christmas sermon, but this time it was doing the classic, and everybody's heard this sermon. It's the most typical sermon in the world, other than John 3:16. It was Jesus' parable about the seeds thrown on the path, thrown in the shallow soil, thrown in the deep soil, picked up by the birds, choked by the thorn, all that. It was the seed parable. And so he did a sermon on it. It was a very nice sermon. There was an artist who did some drawings, and it was pretty nice. But the worship was just off the charts. I put my guitar away. I was going to play one of the leads, but it was beautiful. Anyways, then we had our dinner, which was, of course, because it's a volunteer event, and every volunteer event I've ever been to, the typical meal of choice is pizza. So I had some pizza. I had about 4 slices, I'd say. 4 or 4.5. So that was my lunch and dinner. I haven't eaten since then, which is okay. That was around 6, and it's 12 now, so... Good. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. But, you know, editing takes priority over my mind, and then I just don't think of anything else, honestly. When I'm editing, I've got a screen here, I've got my screen here, I've got my speakers, I've got these headphones. These studio headphones are on. I can't hear anything. I can just barely hear myself. So when I'm editing, I am literally in my own world. Something could be happening outside my window, like this dog barking right now, and I wouldn't be able to hear it. So, with that being said, I'm going to set us up so that we can watch a preview of my video. I'm going to move out this blank DVD case. Okay. Let's close Premiere. Let's open up so let's turn up the volume. Okay, and now I'm sideways, and now I'm upside right. Hello. I'm going to move this over to the big screen. I'm gonna maximize full screen. Now you're not going to be able to hear audio, but you're going to be able to see some picture, and I'm definitely uploading a better version. Okay, so the exposure on that, what you just saw, of course, seeing as it was coming off another monitor, was too white. I imagined something a bit darker, and that's what it actually shows on the monitor. But I mean, you got a general idea of the shots, even if you couldn't really hear the sound. You might have heard the face slap in there. Interesting story behind that, really. I decided to go online and look for slapping sound effects. But they suck. They are terrible. They don't sound like a slap. So what I did was I got out my handy-dandy... Oh, shoot. I should unplug that before the battery dies. My Zoom H4n, my most beautiful audio recorder, which I'm going to put in its case now. And I sat there and I took 4 takes of myself doing this. Yes, it hurts, but it's a real slap. So, you know. But I think it would be better if I actually moved my head with the slap and had a bit of a gasp. So it would sound like a better slap if it went. And that would actually sound like a real slap. And it does hurt, but it gives me good sound. So anyways, it's 25 minutes now. I'm gonna upload that video if I find it fit for uploading. So thanks for watching. You know, just I'm gonna close on, you know, a topic of, like, the topic of, you know, this vlog. I am feeling a bit like I've fallen off the wagon a little bit. Just because for the past couple of days I've been so off of my game in terms of, you know, this is how my life should be working. Right now I'm in hardcore last-minute video editing, which if any of you have edited videos, and, you know, most of you have, you know, it's not like a 5-minute process usually, unless you're just doing like piecing vlogs together. But if you've ever worked on the general rule of film is that every minute of film takes an hour in editing, but I've come up with my own theory where in a short film every minute takes about a day of work. You know what? Every 30 seconds takes about a day of work. At least in this case, because it's 90 seconds, and so that's 90 seconds. It's been 3 days, and that's like 3 straight 24 hours if you think about it. Because I spent 5 days in planning, in typing up a script, and getting my photo shoot done, and getting my casting done, and getting my shots done. That took 3 hours, and then I've spent about 10 hours in editing. And I still don't think I'm done. I think, you know what, watching it a bit overexposed there gave me an idea. I want to increase the iris because it gives it a bit more of an alien feel. Anyways, it's 12:12. I need to go to the bathroom now. I'm thirsty, and, you know, I gotta sleep. So, that was, I told you, I'm not myself after 10:30. Anyways, I don't know why I do these things. I love you, I do, and I will say goodbye with a hearty sláinte. Have a good night. If I don't see you at the end of this video production, assume I've died. Assume that this has killed me. It hasn't, because I love doing it, but, you know, this is my eye. Yeah. Oh gosh, Ted, did you just do that? Anyways, sláinte, have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow.